I think Gladys Lillies are like the supernatural Karens.
Well, this is very upsetting.
They don't just call the cops on you when you're staying in an Airbnb or barbecuing in the designated white zone. They place a spell on you, and for good. What's worse is that they are everywhere. They may be one of your family members, or a revered and respected member of your church, or a leader in your corporation, or even a turncoat in your community. There are far too many of these Karens/Gladys Lillies to count. And they work very much like parasites, attacking a bodily organ and sickening the entire body.
No, it's not serious. Nothing terminal. It's just a touch of consumption.
These Gladys Lillies are like contagions, corrupting the mind, body, and soul. Worse, they wreak havoc on our communities, destroying the family structure and polluting bloodlines. So if you're into hidden gems and deeper meanings into Zack Cregger's blockbuster hit Weapons, and you want to know more about parasites and Gladys Lillies, this video is for you.
Now, before you go to school today, I want you to promise that you will not tell a living soul that I am here, or that your parents are resting like they are.
Zack Cregger is turning into one of my all-time favorite filmmakers. I guess it all started with Barbarian. It was weird, yes, but I like weird. And upon further analyzation, I realized that Barbarian was about family structures. On the surface, you'd think it was about Frank, the town freak who kidnapped and imprisoned women in his basement. But Frank is very much like Gladys Lilly. While she cast her spell, bewitching an entire town to abduct virtually all of the students in Miss Gandy's classroom, Frank posed as an electric man, casing women's homes while plotting to stuff them in his trunk later. You can say that both characters were parasites. Gladys Lilly needed to suck the innocence from young children, while Frank needed the innocent to suck. I have to keep it PG for the algorithm. Frank and Gladys aren't just parasites, they appear to be hoarders. Gladys had an insatiable need to stockpile young children, while Frank needed to stockpile up on, again, algorithm restrictions. It's safe to say that both characters are selfish and lack compassion and are inherently evil.
You should have never went in that house to begin with. That's a bad place. And she ain't even the worst thing that's in there.
Gladys Lilly is like an old folklore witch, gobbling up children for sustenance.
I'm very sick, Alex.
I think that's a topic for another video. While Frank created his own freaky harem of inbreds, it was his last creation, lovingly known as the Mother, who caused Frank to end it all.
What is wrong with you?
Did Frank have remorse for his actions? Or did he just want to be put out of his misery? You tell me.
Oh my God. I must be losing my mind.
It's crazy how one person's parasitic nature can ruin an entire family. Frank's actions had monstrous consequences. His whole bloodline was infected, and the rot seeped from his home to other houses in his neighborhood.
Neighborhood's going to hell, Frank.
Gladys Lilly caused dozens of parents a great deal of grief. Archer was consumed with anger and mourning for his son and couldn't rest until he had answers, real answers. But sadly, both Frank and Gladys Lilly's parasitic nature created broken and damaged children.
Don't you see? She just wants wants you to be her baby.
Now, Stephen King wrote The Shining because he was afraid of how his substance abuse was inadvertently hurting his family. The book, far better than the movie, explores Jack Torrance, the wannabe writer who gets a job as a caretaker at the infamous Overlook Hotel.
Physically, it's not a very demanding job. The only thing that can get a bit trying up here during the winter is the tremendous sense of isolation.
Zack Cregger has spoken publicly about his own addictions and his distraught childhood, having survived alcoholic parents. While Jack Torrance's wicked imagination runs wild, he's actually talking to phantoms while drinking watered-down drinks. Justin Gandy, the protagonist in Weapons, she's doing the real thing. She's drinking the real stuff. After all, The Shining wasn't really about a haunted hotel. It was more about the haunted mind. And anyone who has ever struggled with addiction understands the pangs of being terrified by their own mind. Gladys Lilly seemed to have this witch-like nature where she could not only invade people's thoughts but also their dreams.
I can remember when I was a little boy, my grandmother and I could hold conversations entirely without ever opening our mouths. She called it shining.
She somehow convinced the sheriff to do a shoddy job with the missing kids investigation, and she even seems to have a way with words, wiggling her way into Alex's and later Marcus's home. While the rooms in the Overlook Hotel reveal horrifying events, causing Jack Torrance to spiral further into a state of lunacy, almost everyone who encounters Gladys Lilly falls under her spell. First Alex's parents, then the children, Paul, James, and even Archer. Gladys Lilly, much like the wicked spirits in the Overlook Hotel, are like parasites that infect the mind. These parasitic thoughts multiply like roaches.
That's disgusting.
And grow like seed until the victim is totally debilitated, or in Marcus's case, bewitched. You can see this when he attacks Justine. Gladys Lilly can place a spell on people, controlling their minds in much the same way that booze loosens our tongues, empties our wallets, and causes us to hurt the people we love. Even worse, alcohol, much like Gladys Lilly and the ghosts who inhabit the Overlook Hotel, have total control of our mind, our bodies, and our soul. Worse still, it is difficult to break free. We make numerous attempts but still end up falling off the wagon. You ever wonder why Gladys Lilly targeted children and not adults? Yeah, sure, she hustled Alex's parents, but she didn't fully recover until she had Miss Gandy's children. Children being abducted isn't something that is new to horror. After all, it was Candyman who stole a baby right from his crib.
Without these things, I am nothing. So now I must shed innocent blood.
I know, horror is supposed to reflect society's worst fears, and people are ghastly afraid of their children being harmed or taken. However, there is a deeper meaning to all this. Children are our most vulnerable and should be protected. They're also very malleable. While people with parasitic natures can infect the family and the mind, they can also infect certain institutions and communities. You could argue that Candyman, much like Gladys Lilly, preyed on the innocence of children. After all, Candyman needed to groom Anthony McCoy to uphold his twisted legacy.
He had a purpose for you. He chose you to be one of his victims.
And Gladys Lilly needed children to not only revive her, but to fuel her wicked ambition. It's no secret that corporations profit from people's sicknesses. It's also no secret that communities thrive off of broken people. But these parasitic corporations and communities cannot exist without fresh blood. They need to infect people with their terrible ideas and bigotry. They need to place people under their spells. But parasites work very much like a cancer. They can cause serious harm if they infiltrate huge swaths of the population. Worse, they can create tipping points which can cause a whole society to go down. But in weapons, it was Alex who broke the spell. And it was the children who rose up and attacked Gladys Lilly, proving that change is possible when people are finally set free. So what do you guys think about weapons? What do you think about real-life parasites? What do you think about Zack Cregger's movies such as Barbarian and Weapons? Please sound off in the comments below.